Goals, goals, goals. Palace nearly produce a shock. Wilson is rising stock. Chelsea's players have a mental block. And Llorente, well, frankly, he's just a laughing stock. Elsewhere, Huddersfield have a new manager. United win again. And Milner is sent off by his old PE teacher. All that and more on A Game of Two Halves. Sam, how are you?
Oh, good, thanks. A lovely weekend of football, I think. It's always good to see goals in the Premier League.
Very much so.
And we weren't disappointed this weekend.
No, two absolutely bonkers games for us to begin with. I think we'll start with Liverpool entertaining Palace, or Palace entertaining Liverpool. The leaders go marching on, but it wasn't simple, Sam.
No, you struggled a bit in this one, didn't you?
I panicked about Palace because Palace have rather been, ever since Christian Ball, our bogey team, if you like. Hodgson's never lost at Anfield in the Premier League since managing Liverpool, which I thought was an incredible stat coming into this weekend. He's got, I think it's 2 draws and 2 wins there, so it was a bizarre game.
Yeah, the first half you weren't really at the races, were you?
Well, we dominated without really creating anything, and then Palace, I mean, in fairness to them, their first goal, they beat the press so well.
Oh yeah,
it was
they were very lucky. I think a few lucky bobbles between their legs, but to get 4 on 5 against your defence.
Yeah, you're right. There's an element of luck to it, but the way they turned it around, I mean, they kept hold of the ball, and at the end of the day, they beat the press, and that does illustrate how you can beat a press with one good long ball over the top.
Yeah, and with someone of Zaha's quality, you expect him to go past his defender and then create the opportunity even further.
Particularly his defender is 90-year-old James Milner with his Zimmer frame.
He didn't have a great game, did he?
Attacking wise, yes.
Yeah.
Defending wise, no, not at all. And well, before we go into the game, I want to have a bit of a go at Liverpool's transfer committee, Klopp, whoever it may be. Why has Klein been allowed to go out on loan?
Yeah, it's a weird one, isn't it? When you see what other defenders you had injured at the time as well. You had Gomez out, you had Matip out, you got Lovren out. Obviously Matip came back at the weekend.
Trent's in and out.
Trent is in and out, yeah. And then your effective second choice right back at the moment is Camacho, who's not got any Premier League experience until this game.
Made an excellent last minute tackle on Zaha, I have to say. Well, we'll go through the goals. We'll just talk about Palace's first. Liverpool's first, a little bit of lucky. Again, Van Dijk with a speculative effort.
Yeah, but it was a well-taken finish by Salah.
Yeah,
he was the only one that seemed to react.
Yeah, it was a really nice outside of the boot flick. Salah had an interesting game. Obviously scored his second, Liverpool's third, with a bizarre goalkeeping
1
mistake.
centimetre tap in, yes.
But it was more about the mistake. 2 mistakes in the build-up to that goal. Zaha lets Milner go free, and we saw what Milner could do attacking the lovely ball across. I don't know what Speroni's trying to do. Is he trying to punch it? Is he trying to get over the bar? Is he trying to tap it down?
He's misjudged the height of it, hasn't he?
Misjudged his life choices.
You can't blame him. He is 39 and he's Palace's third choice keeper.
First game since 2017, I think.
Yeah,
as well, so.
And so you could possibly sort of like let him off for that, but it wasn't great.
But again, good reactions by Salah was key on the line. Spared Speroni's blushes to a point by making sure it wasn't an own goal.
Yeah, I still think it would have been going in anyway.
Oh, it's going in, of course it would. Yeah. And of course, on the subject of Salah, 2 great goals, 1 bad dive.
Oh, it's really bad, isn't it?
It was a poor dive.
I'm not sure how he didn't get booked for it.
All I would say in his defence, and I will be a Liverpool fan and try and defend him, there is contact. There is contact from Sacco. There's a little.
And then 5 seconds later, he realises there is contact.
That's the problem for me. That there's contact on the leg, and he gets a slight tap on the shoulder by Sacco's hand. Is it enough to go down? No. Is it enough to go down like he's been shot by a sniper?
I was going to say, he falls backwards like he has been shot.
No, I said, I think the only reason perhaps it wasn't booked, the referee wasn't totally convinced it was a dive, more just a coming together, was perhaps the fact that he did see maybe the referee did see the contact from Sacco. It's not the strongest defence. I'm prepared to accept that, and I think that Saka needs to be careful because he's won several penalties in the last couple of games. Newcastle was a questionable one. This would have been a questionable one. Obviously, it wasn't given, but it will go down as a dive, and it makes you then just question. I mean, people were very angry that he got the one against Brighton for what was, in my view, a clear penalty. But the reputation's there now.
Yeah, I mean, once you've got that reputation, it's all good and well. You can say, "Oh, I'm protecting myself by going down when you believe there's contact coming."
Yep.
But to some extent, you've got to still have that contact.
Palace's equaliser was a fantastically poorly defended corner by Liverpool. It was like being back in the Brendan Rodgers era. I couldn't quite believe when I saw the highlight. I don't understand what went wrong. Zonal marking, I suppose.
Yeah, it seems to be a way of managers nowadays that they'll set up with the combination of the zonal and man marking, and you'll have those sort of like 3 or 4 defenders standing on the 6-yard box and then marking the runners from deep. But you've got to defend your area.
Problem is that creates grey areas, and as soon as a player gets into the grey area, like Tompkins did, it's a very easy finish.
Yep. So
that made it 2-2. So just said Salah made it 3-2 after that Speroni error. It looked dead and buried after Mane, who had a very interesting afternoon, very wasteful at times, but did get his goal. Good finish past Speroni. Question about handball from Robertson.
It's a definite handball. I know it's very difficult to see on the first shots that I saw of it, but the linesman should have been able to see it, although he was the other side of the halfway line on that side. I can understand why the referee hasn't seen it, looking at the pictures, because Robertson's hand is effectively out in front of him and the referee is behind his back.
It's one of those where, again, I've got to do the defending job to a point. He does change direction sharply.
Yes.
And I think that's...
But he also changes the direction of the ball with his hand.
He does.
Which...
I think I'm trying to make the point of, is it a deliberate handball or is it a half deliberate handball, if you know what I mean, in as much as he's turned quickly and not moved his hand. I don't think it's Henry-esque, is what I'm saying. I don't think he's...
Oh, no, it's not that bad.
I don't think he's trying to keep it in his hand and flick it back into play. I think he's changed
direction.
direction.
But I think he's got enough of a flick on it with fingertips to either slow it down or change its course to keep it in.
Yes, as I say, I don't think it's on the Henry level of handballs, but I don't think it's entirely accidental either. I think it's half and half. But Mane did very well with the finish. Good finish past Speroni.
Yeah.
That should have been the end of the story. Palace had other ideas. A bizarre third one to consider. Liverpool kind of... I mean, Milner had been sent off by this point.
Well, yeah, you'd gone 4-2 up, hadn't you?
Yeah.
And you thought, that's game dead and buried.
Absolutely. Well,
92nd minute, I think you went.
I don't think Mane put us there. Yeah, I thought that was done.
And, yeah, they come back and Max Meyer was free on the edge of the box and slots it in.
Alisson should do better.
Yeah, I thought he should do better as well.
But then so should the entire Liverpool defence, kind of all switched off and went to sleep.
Yeah, they thought they had the game won by that point, and you still got to stay turned on until the final whistle.
And they had a good chance at the end, Camacho blocking or getting the tackle on Zaha last minute. Very important tackle. Milner sent off, 2 yellow cards, no complaints. Milner didn't have any complaints, I don't think Klopp had any complaints.
Both of them were yellows. The first one was a really hard tackle as well.
Yeah, I don't think it's a red. I don't think the first is a red though. I think it is a yellow. I don't think his studs aren't up. He's not jumped in. It's a hard, old-fashioned midfielder tackle.
Yeah.
I've not got a problem with that as such.
And the second one is just late. Just plain late.
I'm cross with Bobby Firmino for the second one because he's let the ball run. Sort of dummied the ball to Milner, if you like, when the ball was never going to reach Milner.
Yeah, and Zaha's got in there.
Yeah, it's poor awareness from Bobby. I think he should take that on, realise he's not going to reach Milner. And yeah, he's late. It's a bit of a nasty late one as well. It catches Zaha high.
Yeah, it's high on the ankle, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a bit nasty. I have no complaints. And of course, his old PE teacher, John Moss, sending him off. Quite funny.
Do you think he took delight in that?
I would imagine that he probably didn't even realise he used to teach Milner. Because whenever I see any of my old teachers in the street try and say hello, completely blanked. So I'm going to go with that logic entirely. I want to say that Naby Keita hasn't worked at Liverpool. Klopp sort of played him on the right in this one, which is odd rather than through the midfield.
He hasn't set the world alight.
He just didn't do anything. He got a bit of a lucky assist in the game. He didn't really deserve it. Every time he drove with the ball, he lost it, couldn't tackle. He seemed constantly surprised every time he got tackled. I don't know if they tackle in Germany or not, but he didn't seem to be able to keep possession or realise how key possession is. Fabinho's picked up quickly.
Do you think that's because Fabinho is more of a physical player?
I think
he's bigger in stature, bigger in build than Keita is.
I think Fabinho's also just a better player generally. I think he's a better, more intelligent player. I mean, you see that some of the passes Fabinho pulls off, that he is an more intelligent player. I think Keita perhaps relied on raw power in the Bundesliga, which is a league not really refined for power or renowned for power.
No.
And when you have that kind of player, Sancho's it to an effect, you can sort of set that league on fire if you go against the norm. I'm very disappointed in Keita. I thought Shaqiri should have started this one. This seemed to be the perfect game for Shaqiri. Paz were piling men behind the ball and hitting the counter. They were making the box very sort of packed and compact. Shaqiri's the sort of man to unlock that kind of door. Slight surprise he didn't start. And I am worried about Keita. On the flip side, I thought Henderson had probably his best game in a Liverpool shirt for a long, long time.
What?
I know.
What?
Yeah, I'm praising Henderson. I thought Henderson was excellent. He broke up play quite well, passed relatively well.
Jordan Henderson.
Yeah, Jordan Henderson, captain. Yeah.
Okay.
I've always loved him. Great player. The other thing also about this game is I think it's highlighted just how much we miss Wijnaldum. I think he's key to that midfield because he's a very gifted player both in the attacking and defending side of it.
I was going to say he's able to make that switch, isn't he, between the defensive work and setting someone off.
But it's an absolute
down the
seamless
field.
switch, isn't it? That he'll be defending 1 minute on the edge of the box with a shot the next. For Palace, then, they're getting kind of dragged in towards a relegation fight. It's bizarre when you see how they play in some of these games, and the win away at Wolves, win away at City, obviously ran Liverpool very close here. I can't really understand why they're 14th in the table.
Yeah, they've produced some really good performances, and as we said in the Christmas podcast, that they've got one of the best clean sheet records in the league.
Yeah.
And you can't quite understand where it goes wrong for them. In these bigger games, they've played generally quite well, especially since the City game.
Yeah, they've been alright.
But yeah, they're a weird team at the moment.
And you do worry. Look at the last 5 games. It involves 3 losses, a win and a draw. They need to start putting together some wins for me. Just
they
getting
do.
1, 2, 3 wins on the bounce, and that would take them well out of contention. Particularly when you look below. Southampton have started to put together some runs, as have Burnley. And as you say, Southampton are due to play Burnley. No, they're not. Palace.
Due to play Crystal Palace next.
Indeed. That's a big game.
It could be, especially with the run that Southampton are on. And if Palace, we say it with all the teams down there, they've got to win those games against the teams around them.
They do. We'll come on to the preview later on, of course. Anything else you want to mention on this game at all?
Yes. Alisson only conceded 3 goals at home all season.
Yeah.
Goes on to double that tally. And Crystal Palace have been the first side to score more than 1 goal at Anfield this season.
Which is an incredible stat in its own right.
It is.
I would say that Alisson is faultless for the first 2. He can't do anything about the first 2, for me. Arguably, maybe he should come out for the corner, but shouldn't need to. He's got Van Dijk, Fabinho. Shouldn't need to come out for the corner in those situations.
But the third one, I think he certainly could do more.
Weak wrist, a bit Mignolet-esque, I'm afraid.
I was going to say, he's been having coaching lessons from Mignolet.
Well, this wasn't the only 7-goal thriller of the weekend. Bonkers, this one. Absolutely. More so in the Liverpool game because of the way this sort of ebbed and flowed.
I'm not sure there are any defenders playing in this game.
No. I mean, I've got no notes. Both keepers played well despite conceding 7 between them. I mean,
apart from one sort of like lapse of concentration that Patricio had, where Vardy very, very nearly caught him out.
But I would say Patricio responds brilliantly.
Yeah.
Goes to the ground twice, gets the ball twice.
Dives straight at his feet, straight towards the ball.
And no hint of getting that wrong, no hint of a foul.
No.
And I say, Patricio made some excellent saves. Schmeichel made a world-class save from, I think it was Neves in the first half.
Oh, that should have gone in.
And 99,000 times out of 100,000 it goes in. Brilliant save by Schmeichel. Leicester were poor on the whole. I think the scoreline flattered them to a degree. Odd lineup. I couldn't believe that we saw Chowdhury, Maddison on the bench.
There was lots of rotation in this game. I looked at the lineup and I saw Simpson at right back.
Yeah.
And Ricardo Pereira was right mid.
Yeah. Morgan started centre back as well.
And the way that Pereira's been playing in these last 4 or 5 games, he's been one of their better players. Why would you change his position and bring in someone that hasn't had that many games this season? And he was caught out for the first goal, wasn't he?
Albrighton also on the bench.
Yeah.
It just strikes me that It just strikes me that Puel is chopping and changing too much. Doesn't know what his best 11 is. Perhaps doesn't even care what his best 11 is. I think the 3 goals they scored flattered them slightly, insofar as Wolves were pretty much in control all game long.
Yeah, the Barnes goal was a lucky deflection through Cody's legs.
Well, it went down as an own goal, I believe, in the end for Cody. Yeah, 2-2 for him.
But yeah, Leicester, they're an up and down team, and they seem to be on another downer. I wonder whether they've dropped confidence from going out the FA Cup, whether they're feeding off of the fans at the moment because of them wanting Puel out.
But your first point makes the rotation even more bizarre in that you've got nothing to play for.
Yeah, it's just the league now.
Yeah, by your own decision making, you're out of both cups, which you should be in both cups still.
Yeah.
Limped out against City when they should have won that game, had to sit on the ropes. I was going to swear, but we're not an explicit podcast. A wee poor performance against Newport.
Yeah,
shameful.
It wasn't good.
Shameful in that game. And so what's the point of rotating now? You've got literally nothing left to play for. Your season's over. Done, capiche. Wes Morgan with a good goal after I criticised him all day and all game long for being slow and old.
It was a bullet header. Beat 3 players off, didn't he? Showed his strength.
But can't defend.
No.
He's lost his legs. Not literally, that'd be horrific, but he's lost. He can't. He can't keep pace. When you've got somebody like Neves and Jota who are quick, tricky players.
And when you've got 2 centre backs at Leicester in Evans and Maguire who have decent Premier League experience, especially with Evans, you expect those two to be your solid centre back partnership that you have for 30 games of the season.
I don't know why he's not allowing Evans and Maguire to build a partnership. I can't work that one out either. Quick mention, of course, for Diogo Jota. I thought his third was excellent. I thought that for me was the pick of the bunch because it's been swept across to him at pace.
He's had to take it first time.
And he's put it right in the corner.
Especially missing, a couple of minutes before that to get his hat-trick as well.
I thought it was a great pullback, don't get me wrong, but the finish just sort of swept it in.
He could have had 5 in this game. He was outstanding. And him, along with Ronaldo, the only 2 Portuguese players to score a hat-trick in the Premier League.
Did Nani ever get one?
Nope.
Wow. You are full of stats.
I know.
Anything else to mention during this one?
We should have expected this score coming, because the last time that Leicester played Wolves at Molineux in the league, it ended 4-3 to Wolves, with Leicester having been 3-0 up at half time.
Wow. I mean, Wolves went 2 up in this one before falling back to 2-2, then 3-2, then 3-3. And when Leicester did equalise with Morgan in extra time, I thought that's a really well earned point.
There was one thing that I did notice in the game where, as you said, Wolves were 2-0 up at half time. Leicester came back within 15 minutes in the second half, and you see Claude Puel's reaction. He's passionate about the game, certainly.
Yeah.
Whether it's passionate about Leicester is difficult to tell.
I thought both him and Ranieri were going to cry at the final whistle in their respective games. Puel looked absolutely broken.
Yeah.
And of course, it would be right that Leicester change manager just before we bloody well play them so they can beat us. I mean, why not? Why not? I just have one more thing to say on this. I thought it was interesting how Leicester changed for the better attacking wise when Maddison came on. It's almost as if he should be starting every game.
Yeah, he should. We've seen the link-up play between him and Vardy all season. Considering he was only brought in the summer, that it almost seems telepathic.
His delivery is
it's fantastic.
Sumptuous.
He's well worth the money that they've paid for him this season.
Okay, well, Newcastle hosted Cardiff in a humdinger I predicted to finish 0-0. However, Newcastle have perhaps used up all their remaining goals in the Premier League because that's how it works. Sure to be Shah, Newcastle get the points.
Oh, that's poor.
I know.
That's really poor.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I was slightly confused in this game.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure whether Shah was the forward or the centre-back.
Well, I thought Messi had signed for Newcastle with the first goal. I mean, he just kept going. I was expecting to end up in the car park. He just kept going and going and going.
Yeah, for someone who's a right-footed centre-back who runs from 5 yards inside the opposition's half to score a left-footed goal into the bottom corner.
I did love, I don't know if you saw Benitez's post-match interview, they asked him, did you expect that? And he went, along the lines of, well, yes, in training he's a very gifted player. Rafa. You did not see Shah running from his thigh.
Wow.
I know you're a tactical mastermind, don't get me wrong, but you did not see Shah doing that.
No one saw Shah doing that.
But yeah, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Newcastle out of the bottom 3. It's going to be so tight down there, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, there's 3 points between Cardiff in 18th and Palace in 14th at the moment. I think from anyone from 14th down, you're going to be worrying.
Yep.
Depending if Southampton keep up their run, then we could see them pull clear of that group.
Yeah, I think we will as well. We'll come on to that game with you guys in a minute.
But it was crucial for Newcastle, this one, I think.
It was, and I think Rondon could be the reason they stay up. I think that's a very, very smart signing by Benitez in Newcastle.
Yeah, he was willing to run after anything.
He puts himself about, he's big, he's difficult,
Yeah.
he's awkward, and he's actually got half a chance of scoring. Whenever you see Perez or Hossley on the ball...
Hey, he scored in this game.
Well, yeah.
Because of Rondon.
But when you see Perez or Hossley on the ball, you don't worry as a defender, you don't worry as a fan. Like, if Hossley gets the ball in the area, I'm not worried.
They're not the big bustling forwards that you're used to seeing in a Newcastle team.
But they're also just not very good periods. They missed so many easy chances. Rondon is that big, awkward... obviously I'm not comparing him to Shearer, but Shearer-esque kind of one man up front, one man army kind of, I'll take the fight to you and I'll do everything against you to beat you. Quite skilled at both his feet, good in the air. I think he's a really good signing for Newcastle.
And quite caring. Did you see...
I did, I thought it was really good
play.
play.
Where he absolutely walloped it into Bennett's face?
Yes.
You could see that he
was out cold.
Knocked him out cold. And he'd noticed straight away, and even though he's received the ball back, he's inside the box, he puts it out of play.
Yeah, I thought that was really good
And all
to see.
credit to him, it's excellent sportsmanship.
Very good to see. Very, very good to see. And obviously the Cardiff players went over to thank him, which...
Yeah.
It's all round good play.
Good game.
Good game. Warnock again at the end. Couldn't ask for more from his lads.
Yeah. He said there's some positives to take from this game.
Yeah.
But
If that's not a really strange thing to say.
I'm not sure if he was watching the same game.
No, Cardiff are starting to just teeter a little bit for me.
Well, they've made a couple of signings. They've loaned Nias from us, and they have also bought in Emiliano Sala.
Mohamed Salah's. No.
So it'll be interesting to see how he fits in the Argentina national. It's always going to be tough to fit into a team halfway through the season.
It is. I say Cardiff just starting to teach a little bit. Not very good against Huddersfield. Not very good here. But I say that. They could well go and put 2 wins together when Newcastle lose 2 games and it all changes again. It's going to be very, very tight. I actually think come the end of January, perhaps mid-February, it will be between 4 teams. I fancy Burnley and Southampton to pull themselves clear and to leave those 4 in Newcastle, Cardiff, Fulham and Huddersfield behind.
Okay.
I think they're coming to be the worst 4 teams in the league. Burnley will come on to, and Southampton, both starting to show form now, and they should be okay. Where are we going to go next, Sam?
London Derby. Now,
you wouldn't have known it, would you?
we previewed this. Obviously, when we previewed this, we thought, where are the goals going to come from? And it produced a couple of goals. 2-0 win to Arsenal. But I think only one team turned up.
And that one team was led by Laurent Boscielny, who was absolutely class in this game. Absolutely bossed it. Brilliant.
He's been out for 6-7 months now with knee ligaments, I think. And it looked like he'd been there for years and years. And he's the one that's going to draw that Arsenal defence together and keep it solid. Because when there's Mustafi, Socrates and whoever else they want, there's just no solidity there.
Sorry, very quick afterwards to have a go at the players. I mean, before we go on to Sorry, before the Arsenal fans complain, they're very good, dominated and deserve to win absolutely wholly. But Sorry saying his players lack motivation, I take issue with this for a couple of reasons. Firstly, you're playing your 2 best players out of position. Kante won the league at Leicester and won the league at Chelsea.
Yep.
You put 1 down to perhaps a bit of luck, 2 on the bounce with 2 different teams.
Yep.
That's not luck. There's a reason that happened.
Yep.
And Kante is one of those reasons. Why he's been played in a more wing role, I have no idea. And Hazard is not a striker. We say every week Chelsea need a striker. For reasons best known to them, they've gone and got Higuain, who's essentially
on loan.
He's essentially an Italian Morata.
Yep. And Morata's
gone to Atletico.
Which I'm not sure whether that's the right move for him or not.
I don't see how he gets in that side, considering there's Costa, Griezmann. I mean, they're going to be ahead of him comfortably, aren't they? You're not going to take out Costa or Griezmann for Morata, are you? I mean, so yeah, I struggle with Sarri's comments. Hazard isn't a striker, Kante isn't a winger, Jorginho's not working particularly well for me. He's quite nice on the ball, doesn't really do anything.
Yeah, but I've got dogs that are quite nice on the ball.
Yeah.
But they're not producing what they should be producing for the amount of money that he's come in for.
No, he's not producing. He's yet to register an assist in the Premier League. And
Yeah.
whilst I'm fully aware you cannot look at stats alone, to be this far through the season not have a single assist to your name, when I believe Edison has an assist to his name, is pretty poor in my view.
One thing I did notice about Chelsea, despite them playing Kante out of position, Hazard out of position, they're so narrow.
They really are. Well, because Hazard should be on the wing.
Yeah, but even when you've got Willian and Pedro out there, who are recognised wingers, they're not working back. They're not helping their fullbacks out.
They're not.
And that's where Arsenal got in and saw their chance and bombarded the wings because it's too congested in the middle.
I personally think Willian is woefully overrated for me. And I think in these sort of games it shows why. It's all very well curling in a lovely one against Newcastle. I can't remember a time he's performed against a big team. Obviously he'll go get a hat-trick when we play him in April now, obviously. But Hazard has scored, I think it's 3 goals in the last 3 months or something ridiculous like that. He's the best player in the league.
Yeah, he's not on the form he was at the start of the season.
It's all going a bit wrong for Chelsea. I'm not convinced by the keeper either, I have to say.
Kepa the keeper.
I'm not
He made
convinced.
one good save at point blank early on, but apart from that, I don't know whether he doesn't have confidence in his defenders.
Well, we've got David Luiz in front of you. It's hardly surprising, is it? For Arsenal, 2 slight setbacks for them. Petr Cech retiring at the end of the season. Obviously, I think we both would agree. We wish him all the very best. Seems a very nice bloke off the field.
Had an excellent career in the Premier League.
Wonderful goalkeeper. I don't know if you've seen his interview. Not interview. His. I don't know if you've seen Ryan Mason's comments on him.
Nope.
As soon as Mason had that
horror
injury, of course, Cech called him to say and visited him
he
stage.
said, any questions you got, come and ask.
Spoke to him for an hour and a half.
Yeah, been through it all.
Yeah.
And it's really good to see that there's that camaraderie between ex-players and current players.
Whilst football pales into insignificance, we should point out, of course, Mason, the ex-Spurs player.
Yeah.
I mean, it pales into insignificance when this sort of thing happens,
Yeah.
but it's good to see. It's slightly surprising he's retiring so young, but part of me does wonder if he has now decided that the risk doesn't outweigh the reward. Sorry, the reward doesn't out. He's retired quite young, but I think maybe he feels the reward no longer outweighs the risk, in so much as he's not getting a lot of game time. If he gets that same head injury now, God forbid, it'd probably be a lot worse being that bit older. Realistically, would that skull cap actually have made any difference if he was wearing it? I'd posit probably not.
No.
And I think he's probably realised to a degree that, this is it now. And I wish him all the best in his retirement. I'm sure we'll see him as a manager or a pundit somewhere. He seems a very intelligent guy, so all the best to him. And Bellerin off on a stretcher seems to have snapped his cruciate ligament. I don't know if you've seen the footage. Yeah, it's...
At first I thought he'd dislocated his knee and popped it back in straight away because I saw him lay on his back holding his knee. But the way that he goes down is just such a strain on that left knee.
Yeah.
And it's really not what Arsenal need is defensive injury problems.
No, not at all. So
especially when Emery said, if we're getting anyone in, it's going to be on loan.
we wish Bellerin all the best.
One final thing,
Moving on too quickly.
the Arsenal-Chelsea game. Did you see the...
Assault?
I'm not sure whether to call it an accident or not, because I think Alonso means it. The coming together.
They're coming together. Alonso
and Maitland-Niles.
Alonso has a nasty streak to his game at
Yes.
times. He's not a particularly good loser. I think there's an intention, perhaps not to go as far as it did, but I think there is an intention behind it.
Yeah, I certainly think he's meant to dig his fingers or thumbs in where he shouldn't, but whether he's meant to get Maitland-Niles what it looks like in the eye, I think there will be retrospective action for it.
I think there will be too. Talk of retrospective action, actually, I don't know. We'll skip back a couple of games. Do you think Salah could face any retrospective action for his dive?
No, probably not.
No, I think probably not because there's contact.
Yeah.
Okay. Fulham lost in the last second of the last kick of the game to a header from the smallest guy on the pitch. Fulham 1, Tottenham 2. This was a really good game of football. I really enjoyed this one. Fulham absolutely dominated, in my opinion, for large portions of the game. I thought Ryan Babel, who made his debut, was excellent for the 55 minutes he played. Should have had a goal. Should have beaten Lloris with a shot in the near post.
Yep.
Ran all game long. Took players on. And he looks in for. I'm not saying he's going to be a saviour for them, but this is the sort of player that they needed, i.e. someone that could drive.
Yeah.
He'll lose the ball 6 times out of 10, but he'll drive and drive again. I have to say that they should have been 2 up. I don't think Mitrovic is offside. I think he's on.
Yeah, I think he's on as well.
I think he's
and
unlucky.
Fulham were on top at the time.
Yeah, I think if they go 2 up, Spurs aren't coming back from it, in my opinion. I don't think they're coming back. But, as superb as Fulham were, you get punished in the Premier League for making mistakes.
I was going to say, both Spurs goals, there's defensive issues for Fulham.
Like there has been all season long. We'll start with the first one then, which is the Dele Alli equaliser. He went off injured. Not good times for Spurs at all. They might have to stick with Llorente. We'll come back to him in a moment. Good goal by Spurs, but yeah, Fulham's. Why has the ball not been cleared? I don't understand. I don't understand. Why are you taking liberties for? You 1-0 up at Tottenham against Tottenham at home.
The amount of space that they've been given to get the ball into the box, and Ali's 6'2". You expect him to be challenging in the air, and he did.
But if you're an Adaz defender, get it into Rose Ed or kick it down the other end to the team's keeper, because the ball ain't hurting you in those positions. And for the second, I did feel so sorry for Fulham, because and Ranieri, who looked as if he was about to just fall into a heap on the pitch.
Yeah, all the hard work that all the Fulham players had put in to try and secure at least a point.
It's just a quick turn off from the defender.
Yep.
Loses man. For me, Rico could do better, but that's probably been a little bit harsh.
Yeah, I think it's far too close.
It's one of those, but I don't think the mistake is with him. I think the mistake is with Fulham's defending. Disappointing. It's a long way back for Fulham now, isn't it? Even with Mitrovic and Babel and what have you, it's a long way back. Schürrle played well again, by the way.
They're 7 points off safety now, although they've scored more goals than both Newcastle and Cardiff. You just don't see where the next clean sheet's coming from, or the next time they'll only concede 1.
Talking of players scoring, Llorente in the team.
In your fantasy team
in my
this
fantasy
week.
team? Well, I thought that was going to be an absolute coup, and we'll talk about that half time. But and a quite brilliant no-look finish against his own team. Trying to kick it one way and kicks it the other. World-class stuff.
Well, he was brought in for the goals.
Yep.
Not necessarily at that end. And it will be interesting to see what Pochettino does now. Really, he has to stick with him, doesn't he?
It's that, or you play Janssen. Or when Lucas Moura is fit, you play Lucas Moura. Or I would be overly surprised if we see Lamela play up front.
Yeah, I could see Lamela playing up front, actually.
I don't know what to do with Llorente. I don't suppose Pochettino knows what to do with Llorente. He's had a couple of chances with Spurs and he just doesn't seem to take them. Although interesting, a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about the Spurs United game, I thought he changed the game for Spurs when he came on. You wouldn't be able to tell he was the same player.
But it's the age-old problem that Spurs haven't got a backup for Kane. And they haven't had a backup for Kane for the last couple of seasons.
Are Spurs still in this title hunt, or is that it? Even though they've won, are they gone for you? 9 points off Liverpool and make it. 5 behind City. I mean, Liverpool are going to have to lose 4 games for Tottenham to win the league. Liverpool have lost once all season. I
think we've been saying this pretty much all season. It's between the top 2.
You look at it and you think, can you see City losing? It's going to be 3 games, isn't it?
And I think it's more of a case now for Tottenham, especially with the injury issues, Son being at the Asian Games.
Yeah.
That they're going to have to really fight to stay in the top 4.
The only thing I would say on the flip side of that is that if that had been City or Liverpool who had won this game last minute, it would have gone, that's what champions do. They don't play well. They don't play well. You know, they ride their luck a little bit, but they get the job done. So playing devil's advocate, that is what Tottenham have done and done several times this season. But in my opinion, I don't see Liverpool losing more. I don't see Liverpool losing 4 games. I don't see City losing 3.
I was going to say, you don't lose 6 games in a season, which is what Tottenham have done so far, and go on to win the league.
Although I will say on the back of that is that they perhaps could get away of losing 6 or 7 on the fact they're not drawn any this season.
That's mad.
But as I say, look, City and Liverpool, you don't see dropping that many points. And of course, whilst Liverpool and City were to lose those 4 and 3 games respectively, Tottenham would not be able to drop a single point.
Yeah.
For me, I don't see it. For me, I don't see it. I think Tottenham are out this title race. Moving on then to Southampton, the Hasenhüttl.
Bless you.
Thank you. Revolution really is gathering momentum. A 2-1 win. You don't seem too happy with the Hasenhüttl Revolution.
No. It was only 2-1, sorry. It could have been 4 quite easily.
Yep.
It would be nice if we actually went to our away games.
Yes.
Since we only won 2 all season.
Appalling.
And where do I start?
Well, you've slipped out of the Everton Cup places.
Yeah. Although we are only 3 points behind Watford, who are 7th.
Yes. It's surprising that Watford are ahead of Wolves in this, but anyway. I'm quickly touching on Southampton before we're going over to what's going wrong at Everton. Obviously, the shooting up the table, Hasenhüttl's got them playing. I think more Prowse is along the lines of, this is what happens when you coach players and players. It was at Redmond, actually. I can't remember. Anyways, one of them said, when we know who's got a plan, when we know what we've got to do, we get results. F.U. Mark Hughes. But he seems to have really got them going there. Pretty impressive for a manager of no Premier League experience, limited actual experience anyway. He's quite a young manager. Yeah,
fairly young manager, although you could see his potential with going and winning the league with RB Leipzig.
No.
Finished second, didn't he?
Second's fine.
When you take a team like that who no one's really heard of, bring them up into the top tier of German football and then beat Dortmund in the league, you know you must have a good manager on your hands. And he certainly showed that with coming in at the Saints.
Yeah, he's done really well there. Bizarre own goal by Digne. Quite funny, but absolutely bizarre.
I have written down here it was comical. It was from 20 yards out.
Pickford's completely wrong-footed, unsurprisingly. Wonderful finish, made Jota's look like absolute child's play. Just a wonderful pass into the corner. I mean, it is unlucky. Look, it's difficult to blame him. He's made a tackle, it's gone in. Again, it's a free-cone goal. It's hilarious, except of course having my fantasy team. Yeah,
having him in our fantasy teams isn't great. Gomez also nearly produced one in the first half, which came back off the post.
Yeah.
And it seems like we've forgotten how to play football.
What's going on? Because away from home, that's exactly what I was going to say. You look in absolute shambles. You look in, never played with each other before. At home, you're much better. Take the Spurs result aside, but at home you're much better. You generally turn up and give anyone that comes there a good game. Away from home, Liverpool out of the equation. You've been dreadful.
Yes.
Why didn't you play all your away games like you did against us? I don't get it, because against us you were lucky not to get 3 points, let alone 1.
Well, effectively going to Liverpool's not much of an away game. That's the only thing I can think of, that maybe there's a different mentality or a different setup to how we go towards away games, in whether it be travel arrangements on the days that we train or whatever. But something just isn't working, because it's pretty much the same team that's playing. So why can they play decent, not good, decent at home, and then just almost capitulate away from home?
And whilst forums and message boards and phone-ins aren't the best, necessarily they're not the whole picture. You're obviously across a lot of these with the Everton fan clubs, etc. How much pressure is Silva under, do you think?
There's a notable person who always comments on, or gives his roundup on how he sees every Everton game, and he's understanding at being on the players' backs. He's understanding at players maybe not showing the enthusiasm, being played out of position like Richarlison, not being good enough quality for what we expect. Now, one of those names that has popped into that category recently is Idrissa Gueye.
Oh, he's been brilliant for you.
Which I was quite surprised by, but I think that has been since the possible transfer speculation of him going to PSG. So I don't know whether people would like to jump on the bandwagon, or he's going out, we'll get on his back.
Yeah.
But he said that the people looking to call for Silva's head are wrong, and I agree with that, because he's only been there half a season. He's not been given any money in January.
All I would say is that this is about the time it started to fall apart at Watford. Do you think there's a wider problem with Silva, that he for whatever reason he gets itchy feet, cold feet, can't seem. He's
Possibly.
good as initial shock, and everyone's like, "Yeah, it's brilliant. Let's get on it. It's fantastic." And then actually, you get used to his methods. I mean, it doesn't seem to affect Richarlison, who's followed him all the way. But this is almost mirroring his Watford season.
Yes, possibly, but we all remember when Fergie came into United, he had a decent start, then had issues, and then went on to do better things. So I'm sure all managers go through their bad patches. It's whether the club is willing to stick behind him, and the way that Brands and Mashiri went out and got Silva, you can see that there's backing from the board, but are we going to fall into that syndrome that Arsenal did, that Tottenham have done, of we want a new stadium?
Yeah.
We're not going to spend the money elsewhere, which I worry about.
I can see Silva going and you then trying to get Javi Gracia and keeping this bizarre Watford to Everton circle going. He's done a good job, Javi Gracia.
He has done a good job,
but
I wouldn't want him.
Fair enough. I've got anything else to say on this game.
The consolation goal was scrappy. He was very lucky. We probably didn't deserve it.
I don't think you really deserved it.
Pickford made some good saves, although very flamboyant.
Yeah,
unnecessarily.
That's Pickford.
But yeah.
On a personal level, I'm very happy to see Southampton moving at the table. I've always had a bit of a soft spot for Southampton. Perhaps because I grew up saw the Tiss and other players playing there, the So, etc. But also, it's good to see a team trying to play football. And Hassan Hoodland's got a plan. He's got a philosophy, and it's working. Talking of a man of a plan, Bournemouth, West Ham, two of the teams with very differing but very good managers in the league. Bournemouth completely reflected the earlier score in this fixture at the start of the season with a 2-0 win. A couple of points that struck me straight away. At long last, Begovic dropped. You knew I was going to say it.
It's top of my list.
And shall I just say, Begovic dropped, clean sheet.
Clean sheet, yeah. Although it's against a West Ham team that was probably having an off day. Because they didn't create too many chances.
But I think any team that gets a clean sheet against West Ham will be happy this season. Yeah. You're right, they didn't create too many chances. Andy Carroll with miss of the season.
Wow.
If I'm going to defend him in any way, shape or form, the angle's slightly tight.
Tight? It was a tighter angle to get it over the bar.
That is also fair. I can't defend it, it's awful.
It's not even like it's taken a bobble.
No, and it's 0-0. You've got to score that. Callum Wilson, wow.
I've got written down here, what a hit, son.
Utterly brilliant.
It's a stunning strike, and you can see why the £50 million price tags are being branded about.
And again, despite the team losing, I thought Fabianski was superb in this game, made some absolutely brilliant saves. And I don't want to go on about it, I see him touch it every week. He is one of my favourite keepers in the Premier League. Wonderful goalkeeper. Then Bournemouth, of course, wraps it up with the second goal, and the 3 points were theirs. A big 3 points for Bournemouth, who have not so they've slipped in recent games, but they had a
poor run, like November into December.
It wasn't the happiest of Christmases.
Playing the bigger teams as well.
Yeah,
which you can accept that a team of their stature may not get the right results every time. But hopefully this is signs of them turning a corner, and next time out against Chelsea at home, Chelsea in the form that they're in.
You fancy Bournemouth?
Could do.
And Wilson's got a point to prove because he's not presumably going to be going to Chelsea now. They've got Higuain in.
No.
I'd love it if he scored a hat-trick. So that's absolutely outrageous and said you should have got me because for me, and this is no disrespect to Bournemouth, we both love Bournemouth, we both love Eddie Howe and what he's doing there.
He can play at a higher level.
Wilson's too good for Bournemouth.
Yeah. And
he's not in the younger part of his career. He needs to move soon. I think he'll be there to the summer, and in the summer, you said you won't spend money. I think you should just stick what they want for him because I think he fits you perfectly. As he'd fit Chelsea, as he'd probably fit Arsenal,
Tottenham.
Probably not United, City or Liverpool. I don't think he'd get the game time there.
No. Interestingly, Wilson and King have previously both scored hat-tricks against West Ham. So those two scorers, you could have probably had a good bet on both of them to have a goal.
Routine win for City at Huddersfield. There's not a great deal to talk about in this. I think, if it wasn't already, this is good night Huddersfield.
Yes.
New manager, meh. I'm surprised by the decision actually. I'd thought we discussed it last time on the pod. I'd have gone for a good Championship manager ready for next season because they're not staying up.
No.
They are
10 points off
10
safety
points
at
off
the moment.
safety. That's 4 wins with no one else winning. It's
Yeah.
not happening. It's not happening. If it does, then I shall run a competition that if they stay up, I will give away £150 to a charity affiliated to Huddersfield Town.
Okay, lovely.
It's not really a competition, but it's a bet if you like. That if Huddersfield stay up, I will donate 150 quid to, there must be a terrorist foundation or something that
Yeah, I'm sure
that's close to
there's
there.
many things that they support.
Exactly. The story of their season, they had chances. They had chances at 0-0, they had chances at 1-0, and they did not take them.
And they had even more chances when 3-0 down. I think City turned off after 3-0.
But you've got to take them.
Yep.
Because as soon as you get one, you can get two, and City starts to panic.
Yep.
Okay, they might go up again and put another 6 past you, but equally they might panic, and you might get the third. They panicked a bit against Palace earlier in the season.
Yep.
A hilarious Sterling penalty that wasn't awarded.
I don't know how it wasn't awarded.
It was one of the clearest penalties all season.
Yeah.
But going back to the Salah point, I think this is what happens when players have a reputation for going down too easily in the box.
Yeah, but the contact on this one is so clear.
Oh, it is, but if the referee's not had a clear view for whatever reason, you see Sterling go to the floor, and part of you thinks, even when we watch it, part of us goes, "Oh, Sterling's on the floor again." But you know what I mean? Or we see Zaha,
Ex-Liverpool player.
Zaha, Vardy, Salah. We think,
Yeah.
"Oh, they're on the floor again."
Yep.
And I think that his reputation may have gone before him there. Look, from a purely footballing perspective, it's awful refereeing. From a Liverpool fan perspective, that's quite funny.
Yes. I think Huddersfield can count themselves slightly unlucky with a couple of the goals as well.
Yeah.
The
deflection.
Danilo deflected shot, goalkeeper can't really do much about it. That could go absolutely anywhere.
Yeah.
It just happens to have gone in the back of the net.
Sane's offside.
Sane was definitely offside for the second, but his coolness for the third, he just seems to thrive under pressure.
Yeah, he's a wonderful footballer. I say, Huddersfield weren't going to stay up on the base of this result, or go down on the base of this result, but it's the same old story. If you don't take chances, you don't stay in the league. A team that also could have, if they'd taken the chances, got a point. Brighton, who lost 2-1 at Old Trafford. Pogba with a ridiculous penalty. I have no qualm about the penalty being given itself, although
It's completely the right decision.
it was, though he does go down a bit flamboyantly, but I think players have to go down flamboyantly to get the decisions.
Yep.
Stupid penalty. I wish someone would come and tackle him when he does it. I don't know, ban him. Stupid, I hate it. Idiot. But
He stutters more than Ronnie Barker doing Arkwright, doesn't he?
yes, I don't know how to say. Brighton did push them all the way. Phil Jones showing the world how poor a defender is as usual, but in the end quality told, and quality in the form of Marcus Rashford, who is in a brilliant purple patch now. What a goal.
How did it go in?
It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant.
All the sort of like laws of physics that we understand for how you set yourself for a shot to be able to place it where you want, out the window.
Yeah.
Off your feet, take the ball, cut it into the top bins. How? I've seen the picture from behind it, and you can't see that top corner.
It's amazing what having a manager who believes in you does to a team, and Pogba and Rashford epitomise that.
Yep.
And it's 7 out of 7 for Ole.
Yeah. Ollie, Ollie, Ollie.
Oi, oi, oi. Realistically, what can Manchester United do this season? A trophy and a top 4 finish would be a brilliant season, all things considered. Now, it's not a brilliant season for Manchester United of old, but you look at the perspective
Yes.
and of the way this season has gone. A top 4 and a trophy, the FA Cup. I think we can rule them out of the Champions League.
Years.
I think that they might squeak past PSG now, but I think there's better teams in the competition than Manchester United.
Much better. No, I think.
But that said, football is a romantic sport.
Yes.
And can you imagine Solskjaer winning the Champions League
last minute winners
against Bayern Munich or something like that?
Yeah.
But I think realistically, we're all at Champions League. FA Cup's doable, more than doable,
And they're only 3 points off fourth.
and only 3 points on fourth. Arsenal reacted brilliantly, by the way. We didn't mention that in their game. Obviously, they started their game behind United.
Yep.
And reacted brilliantly. And the way that Arsenal are 3 points back off Chelsea. Spurs we expect to do the usual Spursy fall apart in February job. United could feasibly finish third this season.
They could, yeah, if they keep this run going, keep all necessary players fit.
And of course, they could decide the league in so much as they host both Liverpool and City.
Yep.
And I don't back either team to beat them at the moment.
No,
not Old Trafford.
It's weird, isn't it?
I wouldn't back either team to beat them at Old Trafford at the moment.
Oh, United are playing, and you think Man City, Liverpool, clear favourites for the league, but
I can see both of them dropping points in.
Yeah, possibly.
If you gave me this, it's a bit way off, but if you gave me the fixtures, 3, 4, 5 weeks ago, I'd have probably gone Liverpool. Liverpool maybe get a draw, but should win. City will get a win. Now, I'd absolutely take a draw.
Yeah. Interestingly, Brighton conceded a penalty in this game, as we said. It's their 7th penalty they've conceded this season, which isn't good enough.
It's not. There's a few defensive
frailties.
Yeah, no disciplines.
Yep.
But talking of defensive frailties, United have them, and I would suggest that when they come up against slightly better quality, they may be in trouble, i.e. PSG. Last game then, I don't think there's much to say on this one. It was the goalkeeper's day, 0-0. Watford Burnley. Wood unfairly ruled offside at the end of a goal for Burnley. Should have counted.
Yep.
Both teams had chances. Both keepers had other ideas. I thought Heaton was stunning, as was Foster.
I was going to say, to sum up this game, I have 3 points.
Yep.
One was Burnley goal was probably onside, and VAR probably would have overturned it.
Yep.
Which we'll see next season. Excellent goal line clearance from Tarkowski when Heaton was beaten. But Burnley now unbeaten in 4 games, on the up.
They're putting it together.
And that's coincided with Heaton coming back into the team.
I was about to say that ties in absolutely with Heaton coming back, and it's harsh on Joe Hart, who I don't think has actually played that badly for Burnley. But Tom Heaton was the benchmark and the building block behind their season last season, and not last season before. Pope was obviously it last season. I think Hart's reputation may have gone before him, and they haven't reacted well, the Burnley players, to him being in net. He's a bit of a laughing stock when he joined. Well, the board has gone up. We've just about got time to squeeze in Team of the Week, Combined 11 of the Week, Player of the Week, and Villain of the Week. Team of the Week, I've gone for a 3-4-3. Heaton in goal, bedrock of that Burnley side, as we've just said.
Yeah, same here.
I mean, it could have been Heaton, Fabianski, Patricio, Schmeichel. I mean, sport for choice in a way of keeper performances this weekend, but Heaton for me. Back 3 of Robertson, another assist, albeit perhaps controversially.
Little.
But played very well and is often our attacking outlet and is right down the first name on the team sheet. Koscielny, bossed it. Shah, excellent. Midfield 4, Salah, 2 goals. Pogba, bossed the midfield. Ward-Prowse, bossed his midfield. Sane, front 3 of, that's nothing really to say on them. Wilson, Rashford, Jota. Can't argue that for me.
Yeah, the only couple of changes I've got is Tarkowski at the back instead of Robertson, because Burnley clean sheet, cleared off the line.
Yep.
It's what you need when you're down there. I've gone for the 4 in midfield. I've gone for Salah, Ward-Prowse, Pogba and Jota, because I've brought in Rondon up front because I thought he was everything that Newcastle needed in that game for a striker.
Fair enough. Just before we go on to team, etc., Nuno Sanchez has been charged for his celebration. Pathetic, ridiculous. FA are sucking the life out of football.
Yeah.
I'll come and say none of business because that's made me very cross. Who was your team of the week?
My team of the week was Newcastle.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was an excellent performance that they put in, albeit against a team that was down there with them. It was an important win for them, but it's a performance that showed signs, although a slightly surprising performance from Fabian Schär, it was a performance that showed signs of there being possibilities that they could stay up.
Yep. I go with Newcastle as well for those very reasons. It was a must-win game. They did very well. I mean, Cardiff could have won the game in many respects, but Newcastle did very well. Kept a clean sheet, scored 3 goals, played well. Yep. Player of the week, I think. Oh, we're not agreeing on this, are we?
No, my player of the week was Fabian Schär.
And mine was Jota.
2 goals from a centre back is excellent when you can get it, and he was also solid at the other end. I thought he had an outstanding game.
Yep. Jota for me, hat trick. always going to be. My villain of the week, Andy Carroll. Can't miss a chance like that, a 0-0. With the pedigree you're supposed to carry, you only do your he's a donkey tag.
I was going to say,
damage.
What pedigree is he carrying? The injured donkey.
Well, he doesn't help himself in misses like that, does he? Your villain?
My villain of the week was Milner.
Interesting.
I thought he didn't have a particularly good game standing in for Alexander-Arnold. Was beaten quite a few times by Zaha.
See,
yes, he's a good attacking outlet, but
Yeah.
I think he's more suited to a midfield role.
He is. I agree and disagree to a point of view. He's been played out of position and offered a lot going forward. Defensively, he was getting skinned time and time again by Zaha. For me, Klopp should have made a change, but Fabinho there and swapped them around. I agree it's not Fabinho's best position, but he has at least got the pace to deal with Zaha.
Yeah.
Well, that is half time. We can move on to Statman Sam of Fantasy Football. And a new feature for me this week, my favourite 3 football tweets of the week.
Ooh.
I found some absolute crackers.
Cracker. It's a cracker.
It's a cracker. Okay, so this is Rick's tweets of the week. It's very simple, just what it says on the tin. I find some tweets that I like and I read them out on air. I've only got 2 this week. And this is one for you, which you might enjoy. Everton are worse on the road than Prince Philip. Which I think is absolutely right. This one isn't a funny one, this is a more serious one, and it did make me kind of go, what? Oh my gosh. Chelsea have spent a combined €281.8 million fee on the signings of Morata, Bakayoko, Drinkwater, Zappacosta, Emerson, Giroud, Barkley, Batshuayi and Baba Rahman over the past few years. That's not exactly the best way to spend €281 million.
No.
Is there any player that has actually worked? I would posit no.
Have they got like 15 goals between them?
Well, if you look at it now, Morata's not there, Bakayoko's not there.
Drinkwater doesn't play.
Is Zappacosta still there?
Zappacosta is still there.
Emerson, I didn't even know had gone to Chelsea. I know he'd gone, but I've never seen him play. Giroud, he's beautiful, but not really working. Barkley had a mini resurgence. He's gone off the ball. Batshuayi is not there. And who's Rahman?
Batshuayi has just come back from his loan being cancelled at Valencia. And Baba Rahman is a left back. Left back on the bench.
And they're about to potentially get rid of Hudson and Doy. So bizarre times at Chelsea. Those were my tweets of the week. But I will put the third one in, but it's not from this week, it's from a couple of weeks ago. And this is Paddy Power, their absolute best, with Johnny is coming off. Usually a sentence followed by a nice cuddle, but on this occasion it sees Matt Doherty being subbed on. Genius.
Dear.
Let's crack through fantasy football. A good week for you fantasy football wise, a poor week for me with some questionable choices after playing my wildcard.
Yeah, I had a fairly good week. The only downside was that own goal from Digne, which I think both got us negative points.
Yes, I also had an own goal from Llorente thrown in there.
Excellent.
Jesus didn't play.
Wonderful.
Shaw didn't play.
Lovely.
So Wan-Bissaka came on, who got 0. Nasri came on for Jesus for the grand total of 2. At 11:30 I changed my captain from Salah to Pogba, because I just had a sense of dread hit me going, we're going to lose to Palace 1-0 or so ridiculous like that. So I had a fantastically poor week.
How many points?
61.
Okay,
so above average.
Yeah, it's not bad. I got 74 this week. I did captain Salah. I also had Pogba and Rashford and Firmino and Aguero with an assist. Brought Aguero in for Kane, so he's out for a little while now. And all in all, fairly decent week.
Very good. Moving then on to your stats of the week.
Stat of the week with Statman Sam.
Fabian Schär is the first centre-back to score a brace for Newcastle in the league since 1996.
On to then the predictions, the preview part of the pod, where we look ahead to the midweek fixtures. No football this weekend, of course, due to the FA Cup. And we look forward to the Premier League mid-fixture games, which we'll review on the following Thursday. So, Arsenal Cardiff on Tuesday. Very difficult to call because Arsenal have a tendency not to do very well in the games they perhaps should do. Before we go any further, actually, congrats, you absolutely mauled me this week.
Yeah, what is the points update?
I'd have to check that after this and then post it back in the front, as it were. Okay, so moving on to this week's then. Arsenal Cardiff, your thoughts?
Ooh, Cardiff away from home. I don't expect much.
Arsenal do some weird things.
They do some weird things. I think we can only really go for an Arsenal win here, can't we?
Yeah, I'm going to go 2-0 Arsenal.
Yeah, so am I. Actually, I don't think Cardiff score. I think Arsenal have enough to get past them.
Yeah. Fulham Brighton, a must-win for Fulham. I think a loss here probably it dooms them, to be honest.
Absolutely a must-win for Fulham.
I fancy them to do it as well. Brighton away.
Yeah, Brighton away. That's a good point. I'm going to go for a draw.
Yeah.
I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw.
Okay, I've gone 1-0 to Fulham. Huddersfield Everton. You should win this, but you're terrible on the road.
I was going to say we should win it, but we are terrible on the road, and Huddersfield have just got their new manager. So, 2-1 Huddersfield.
I've gone 1-0. I don't see Huddersfield winning, but I don't see you winning either. Wolves host West Ham. This could be a goal fest.
It could, so it won't be.
Yeah.
Especially as these are evening games.
Yep.
I think we're going to have a few random results in here. So, I'm going 1-0.
I'm going to go 3-2 to Wolves. I see goals. And I want goals. So, Man United, Burnley. Burnley starting to put together a bit of form. They have caused United problems in recent seasons. However, I don't see the Solskjaer train stopping anytime soon.
No, nor do I.
I don't see them winning particularly well. I'm going to go 2-1 Manchester United.
I'm going to go 2-0.
2-0, fair enough. I can't really argue. And the last game on the Tuesday night sees Newcastle host City. Rafa, please. If you remember last year, actually, City were made to work in this.
Yes,
they
they
were.
were.
Just heavily criticised afterwards, but for...
Yeah, he set up with like 5-0, didn't he?
But for large portions of the game, they contained City and frustrated them.
Yeah, they did.
And with the addition of Rondon, I'm going to...
Can you see them scoring?
Yes. City don't look good at the back. City are not strong at the back.
I still think City will have enough. I think there might be a little bit of rotation.
You said you'd a bit surprised in that. I'm going Newcastle to win 2-1. They were unlucky against Chelsea as well, Newcastle.
I'm going for a 3-1 City win, but I could quite easily see Newcastle taking the lead.
If Newcastle get a point, I'll be ecstatic. So, Rafa, the whole of Liverpool is with you. Raphael. Moving on to the Wednesday games. Bournemouth host Chelsea. I probably fancy Bournemouth in this one more than I fancy Chelsea.
I'd like to see goals in this. Will Higuain be there by then?
He should be.
Should be.
Considering he's got the weekend as well.
Yeah.
Well, I see Chelsea losing this one. Bournemouth on a good win against West Ham. Wilson back, that makes a huge difference. Points prove. I'm going to go 2-0 Bournemouth.
I'm going to go 2-2. I think this might be the surprise. I think there'll be... Yeah, I think this will be the surprise.
Okay, Southampton host Crystal Palace. Palace on the road are better than Palace at home.
Ooh.
Big 6-pointer.
Yeah.
I think a win for either team probably makes them safe for now.
There's
a long way to go, but it gives them a bit of breathing space for the next couple of weeks. So I think it'll be 0-0.
I don't think either team are going to have enough. I'm going to go 1-1.
1-1, fair enough. Then we have Liverpool hosting Leicester. If Leicester defend anything like they did against Wolves, then they'll be in trouble. However, they may...
So you could have a field day here.
But Leicester, of course, has trouble in recent seasons. Vardy seems to love playing against Liverpool.
Oh, yes, he does.
Whether he'll start is another question with Puel. But equally, Puel might not be there. And if he isn't...
I think he will be there because he hasn't got any games between now and then.
Which is a good time to get the manager to bring a new one in. But then also, from what I read, Leicester want somebody like Brendan Rodgers who won't leave Celtic mid-season.
No. So
they'll probably have to stick him to the summer. At Anfield, under the lights, I fancy Liverpool to have enough. I think Leicester will give them a scare. And I'm going to go for 3-1, but it'll be 1-0 for a long time.
I'm going to go for 2-0 Liverpool. 2-1 Liverpool.
2-1 Liverpool.
Yeah.
Vardy scores for me. He loves
Yeah.
He loves this game. And the last game is Tottenham-Watford, a little bit of a derby. Watford beat Tottenham in the reverse fixture, let's not forget.
Yeah, that was a good game actually.
Good
I remember
game.
watching that earlier in the season.
Good game, good game. Tottenham will be a little bit frail. Watford, well, I fancy their chances. I'm going to go for a 2-2 in this one. I see both teams scoring, but I don't see either team having enough.
I think this could be the surprise at the weekend, or during the week, sorry. I think Watford will win it. I'm going to go for 3-1 Watford.
Ooh, that is a bit of a surprise.
Because they're really going to miss, if Ali's out long enough,
Yep.
Kane's not there, Son's not
We're
there.
going to play Chelsea in the Cup, Crystal Palace away in the FA Cup.
Yeah, I think this could be a capitulation Tottenham.
There's two tough jobs, 2 tough games, sorry. Let's look at how we did the week before, and you comprehensively beat me.
2 correct scores this week.
I think you did. Let's just run through the predictions here, and I'll tell you the points so you can update the table.
Yep.
Wolves Leicester. I had 2-0 Leicester. You had 2-1 Leicester, so no points each there.
Excellent.
Bournemouth West Ham. I had 1-1. You had
I had
2-0. So you get
correct
how many points
result.
left?
3.
3 points. Excellent. Liverpool Palace. I had 2-0. You had 3-0. So that's 1 point apiece.
Yep.
Man U Brighton. I went for 4-1. You went for 1-0, so 1 point apiece. Newcastle Cardiff. I went for 0-0. You went for 2-0, so 0-1. Good point for you there.
Yep.
Southampton Everton. I went 2-0.
I was so close to getting that Newcastle result as well because Perez scored in the last minute, didn't he?
He did. And Sigerson scored deep into well, not quite deep, but it was deep.
It was
into
into
stoppage time.
stoppage time, yeah.
So I had 2-0, so I get a point. You had 1-0, so you get nada.
Damn.
But I'm so upset that I didn't quite get the point there. Watford Burnley, I had 3-1, you had 1-0, so 0-0 for us there. Arsenal Chelsea, we both had Chelsea to win. Nothing for either of us there.
Nope.
Huddersfield City, I very, very, very surprised they went for 1-0 to Huddersfield. You got it bang on, 3-0.
Yeah, I remember I said 4-0. I was like, maybe not, a little more cautious.
And
3.
this is probably the game we both got wrong the most. I went 5-1 Tottenham, you went 4-0 Tottenham.
Yeah.
Oh, in fairness, I'm not sure
We
Kane...
both get points.
We do, and I'm not sure Kane was injured at this point when we made those predictions.
Possibly.
Okay, so the end of the week, you finish with 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10.
Oh, good week.
Good week for you, and I finished with 1, 2, 3, 4. So you win by 6 points this week.
Lovely.
So you better update the table accordingly.
Yep.
Okay, quick rattle through any other business. I didn't have one until I looked at the news and saw that Nuno Espirito Sanchez, whatever his name is.
Santo.
Nuno Espirito Santo has been charged with FA for a celebration. Now, 2 things strike me about this. First of all, it was interesting. It was the same referee who didn't send Klopp off
Yep.
for his celebration in the derby.
And I think I saw on Match of the Day, we think that he got the book thrown at him for it.
Yeah, the rules of the game is Klopp should have been sent off.
Yeah.
We discussed it at the time, and we both said at the time that Marco Silva said if it was the shoes on the foot, he'd have done exactly the same thing. He'd made no hiding of that fact. And the FA are soul-sucking, boring, shirts done up to 11 to keep all the grey matter from falling out from underneath the collar. This is football. It's a passionate game.
You've got to have the passion of the manager. When you score a last-minute winner, or you score an important goal like that, Celebrate, yeah. He wants to be with his players that he's coached and that have done it for him.
He's done nothing wrong. He's not done what the Chelsea player did to Mourinho.
No.
He's not disrespected Leicester. He's not gone and
No.
laughed in Pearl's face or done anything like that. He's gone to celebrate with his players that have won him the football match.
Yeah.
And I've got no problem with that. Same as I had no problem with Klopp's celebration. He just won the Merseyside derby. His team was staying top of the Premier League. I've got no problem with it. If he came on and started doing Nazi salutes or punch somebody, but he didn't. He caused no problem. He went to the corner with his
where
players.
his players were. He didn't incite any of the fans, any of the Leicester players, or anything.
I don't think even a Leicester fan, a proper fan, would have a problem with it either. A football fan doesn't have a problem with this.
No.
And that's the problem with the FA. It's not run by football fans. It's run by people that don't understand the game, who sit in suits, don't go to the football matches, don't realise what that means to... it's a relatively nothing game, with all due respect.
Yeah.
But it's been a thriller. It's
Excellent
7
game.
goals.
Yeah.
You just nicked it in stoppage time. No, come on now. What about when Rooney did that knee slide? Brilliant. Old Chapel, where he did that long knee slide.
Yeah.
Brilliant. I think you run a risk of sucking all the life out of the sport and making it very
You
dull.
need to be able to express your feelings within the game.
And even more interestingly, what is Puel being most criticised for at the moment? Being boring, being dull. Well, you can't have it both ways.
No.
I think we're both in agreement then. We both believe that this charge is stupid.
Yeah.
Um,
And if the fact that he has been charged, would they then go back to the Klopp one and say, oh, hang on, we've moved the goalposts now.
Yep.
We should charge him for it.
Klopp did get charged.
Did he?
He got fined. Yeah, he got fined.
Okay.
He got fined. If Santo gets a touchline ban, then I will be livid. But because he's not done anything wrong. This is. Oh, it's pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic. Good one, FA. Just take all the fun out of the game. When we win matches, when we win tournaments and leagues, we'll sit on the sofa, go, very well done, switch it off.
Bravo, bravo.
Cup of tea, anyone?
Cup of tea.
Yeah, get a grip. You're any other business for this week then, mate?
I haven't got one.
Okay, well, we'll talk about Huddersfield then, and their new manager. Odd. I'm surprised.
Yeah, so am I.
We discussed last time, and I think it's only right to bring it up again. Huddersfield aren't staying up this season,
Nope.
bar a miracle, as discussed earlier. If anyone can get in touch with what Huddersfield's affiliated charity is, the socials are at the end of the pod. But you're going back to the Championship. You want to, for me, be getting a Championship manager who understands the Championship, knows how to survive the Championship, not necessarily to get you back out of it, because I don't think Huddersfield will come back up straight away.
No.
But Martin O'Neill's just gone to Forest,
Yep.
who presumably was available. Steve Bruce is due to take up the position at Wednesday. Could possibly have been persuaded.
Yep.
Big Sam is available. Okay, not the greatest Championship experience, but I don't see how his style wouldn't work in the Championship.
I have also heard him say that he'd rather go to a club where he thinks he can save them, but he doesn't see enough goals at Huddersfield.
That's understandable. But for me, it just seems odd that you're going to go into... It's hard enough to understand how the Premiership works for foreign managers, and that's not me having a go, it's the way it is. Our league is very different.
Yeah.
We're seeing great foreign managers come here and flop.
Yeah.
I don't see how Stewart, however well he may be doing at Dortmund's reserves, he's been given a deal to the end of 2021, so it's a 3-year deal. He's going into a unforgiving league in the Championship, where it's a cliche, but literally anyone can beat anyone. There's no logic, rhyme or reason to the Championship. I can't see was it Middlesbrough on a ridiculous run? It's Fulham last year on an absolutely ridiculous run. Near the bottom, going into this time last year, near the bottom of the Championship, then comfortably up into the Premier League. There's no rhyme or reason to the Championship. It's a steep learning curve. You want a manager that understands this. And obviously Warnock's not going to leave Cardiff.
No, but
that kind of manager, you want them.
See what they've brought in. He's not even a well-known name, a top-quality manager that you've really heard of.
No.
He's Dortmund second-team coach.
Yeah.
And you'd think, why?
And also that, to a point, David Wagner's worked. Well, actually, that's harsh. David Wagner has been a success on the whole. But isn't it now time to move away from David Wagner's? They seem to basically gone, let's replace David Wagner with a David Wagner, or an up-and-coming David Wagner. If I can say his name any more times, then I may summon him to the room. But they need a different direction now, surely.
Yes.
In a way, they were quite lucky to get up. It was a great story, and I don't bemoan Huddersfield getting up at all, but came up with a negative goal difference, scraped through the playoffs, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah.
And they're now set for life in one of the hardest leagues in English football. For me, bringing a manager with no experience of English football, no experience of the Championship, limited experience in Germany, for me, it's a recipe for disaster.
Do you think he'll be there this time next season?
No.
Okay.
Because I think Huddersfield will be sitting towards the bottom of the Championship.
Yeah.
I will say that they've done the Premier League well, i.e. they've not sold the farm, they've bought players in sensibly, they've not given big money contracts. They will sell players when they get relegated. You think Steve Meunier will probably go, Moy won't be there,
Pritchard,
Billing, and
Bossel.
Lursel will all be out of that team. But by and large, they're not a Premier League team. The
No.
players aren't Premier League quality. They'll sell a few when they go down, but this is a bizarre managerial appointment for me. I don't understand it. I really don't understand it.
That is kind of football.
It is, but-
There are things that happen where you go, what?
I suppose the flip side is that at the minute there's two rookie managers. I suppose the flip side is that there's two rookie managers doing very well. Steven
Yeah.
Gerrard and Frank Lampard, who are both doing wonders at their clubs, considering their absolute lack of experience. Maybe he'll be like them.
Possibly.
But do you know what as well, actually, just thinking about this, do you think if they'd waited till the summer and asked Gerrard, he'd have gone?
No.
No?
No.
Fair enough.
Go out.
Well, thank you for listening to a game of two halves. Hope you enjoyed as ever. Please do feel free to get in touch via the socials. Those details are coming up. Until then, enjoy the FA Cup. We won't be here on Monday to review that, but we'll be back next Thursday to review the Premier League games. We hope you join us then. Have a great week, and come on, Rafa Benitez. Thank you for listening to A Game of Two Halves. Please subscribe and leave a review.
You can also find us on our social media, on Instagram at A Game of Two Halves Pod, and on Twitter at @A_game of. You can also email us at gameoftwohalvespod@gmail.com.